Hey everyone, it's Friday, April 11th. This is POV with Eric Andrist. This is episode 4. It's actually, I'm going to have another episode that I started earlier that should be episode 4, but it's going to actually be episode 5 now, but I started it several days ago. I've just run out of time to do it. I've got so many stories to tell and so little time to put the videos together, but I will get to it eventually. So today I'm going to talk about let me pull it up here, the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting of April 8th, 2025, where a lawyer by the name of Grant Kennedy called in on behalf of a client of his who was trying to get a permit here in the city of Oxnard. As most of you know, our permitting system here is atrocious. And what the building department was actually cited last year by the Ventura grand jury, who investigated them and said in their report, and I'm going to read this to you right directly from the report. The grand jury found that Oxnard and Ventura are not in compliance with state-mandated timelines in scheduling hearings for multi-unit housing projects and for approving ADUs. According to the housing requirements for Oxnard and Ventura, both cities failed to meet their regional housing needs from 2014 to 2021. That's 7 years. And it's ongoing. I mean, it seems to me like it's even worse now. These shortcomings are caused by high turnover in leadership and staff, difficulties implementing and using software systems, and inefficiencies in the approval process. It's unconscionable what's going on in the city. I've been talking to my contractors, and they put in very similar permit applications as they're doing with mine, and they're put through in a few weeks, if not a couple of months at the most. My permit has been sitting there waiting to be approved for over 500 days. I lost my place here. Hold on. I'm going to put the entire telephone call from this lawyer at the end of this podcast. I don't want to play it now and make you sit through it if you don't want to watch it, but I'll put it at the end so you can see what he said. He got pretty angry, and he has every right to. All of us in the city of Oxnard who are trying to improve our homes has every right to be angry over how terrible the building department is at issuing permits. When we first moved here 3 years ago, neighbors would stop by and they said, "Oh yeah, we're trying to redo our kitchen. It's been over a year. We still don't have our permit." I went, "Oh great, this is great. You know, we have all this work to do on this house, getting it ready and refurbishing it, and it's going to be this every time we try to get a permit? It's ridiculous." I'm losing thousands of dollars in rental income every day that the city sits on its hands and doesn't process this permit, because I am waiting to get an ADU installed in my backyard so I can get some rental income. I'm barely making it here. They've been sitting on their hands for far too long, and the city and our city council are just allowing the building department to unconscionably not do their job properly or in a professional and timely manner like our neighboring cities. It's just really weird. So then our city manager, Nguyen, stands up and reads a prepared statement because he knew the lawyer was going to call in, and tries to mislead the committee members, which included Mayor Louise MacArthur and council members Gabriela Busua and Gabriel Turan, as well as the public, into thinking that the lawyer was out of line and his client was responsible for a property with all kinds of dangerous problems. Have a listen to this and listen to what he says. One other thing, just a reminder, the lawyer calling in is calling in to complain about the permit for his client taking over a year to process. That's it. That's all he's talking about. That's his main point. So listen to what Nguyen says and see if you can figure out what he's talking about and what that has to do with how long the city of Oxnard takes to process permits.
Last guy. So that was a pretty dramatic public statement. So let me just cut to the chase.
So let me just stop this real quick right here. Nguyen is one of the most egotistical city managers I've ever come across. I've been to a lot of city council meetings in several different cities, and I have never seen anybody behave as badly as he does. He just thinks he can get up at any time and say anything he wants. His personal opinion. He's only to speak on behalf of the city. He works at the pleasure of the city council. He does not work at the pleasure of himself. So he has no right to criticize when a member of the public calls in. He called this lawyer dramatic. He has no right to do that. He has no right to undermine what somebody calling in to hold the city accountable and make it seem like what they have to say is any less important than anybody else or any less important than what he thinks. But this is what he does. I've found a couple of things online I want to read here about city managers. This article said some city managers believe that their position automatically entitles them to speak for the city in dealing with other government bodies or organizations. While managers, like citizens, have every right to express a personal opinion, they can only represent the city's position or commitment if authorized to do so by direction of the entire city council. Does he think that the entire city council thinks that that comment was dramatic? No, that's his personal opinion. And it has nothing to do with that meeting. He has no right to derail a member of the public calling in and characterize them as dramatic. Another article written by Barbara Halliday, a former mayor of, I believe it was Berkeley or somewhere, says every city manager, quote, wants to leave their mark. But you cannot do that alone. It takes you, the rest of the council, staff, and all the residents you can get involved. Always consider what the right thing to do is always consider what the right thing is to do for the well-being of the community and organization, and keep your actions, personal and professional, above reproach. He's constantly getting up and spouting his personal opinion, criticizing things. Members of the public get up and say things that he doesn't like, and he gets up and criticizes them publicly and undermines them. It's out of control, and the city council needs to stop him in his tracks. Let's continue.
Jason, of the many things I can speak to in this particular moment, let me be clear about a couple of things with regard to what our community deserves, which is not this. Having a property where people live in makeshift dwellings, within commercial buildings, unpermitted, unsafe welding, use of non-permitted spray booth, blocking of fire access, no fire extinguishers, and open burning. Just some of the issues at the property that this attorney is speaking about. So we welcome, if the council, the committee wishes, we can give a more robust, fuller update at a city council meeting, because I have to say, on behalf of the administration, that's just an outrageous statement, and particularly untrue. Thank you.
None of that had anything to do with what the lawyer spoke about. He's just trying to undermine what the lawyer said so that the council can disregard everything that the lawyer said. And that's just simply untrue. I've now been in contact with that lawyer, and I've spoken to him, and he's told me that all those things that Alex Nguyen listed off were pre-existing conditions to when his client purchased the property. It has nothing to do with his client. But now Alex is bringing it up as if it's the client's fault that all that stuff exists. It's sleight of hand. He's trying to make you look at something else when that's not even the issue. And that's what he does all the time. And then the city council just continues on and doesn't hold Alex accountable for this. And then later in the meeting, Gabrielle Basua and Gabe Turan both let Alex Nguyen get away with it. Take a look.
And with that, the speaker that spoke was awfully harsh to our city staff, and I would actually like something to come back to the council in regards to that. I want to hear staff side, and also make sure that the public understands that not everything is when people call. There's other, there's another story to that, and it's really not okay to call in and just belittle staff and not really give the whole story.
She is really some piece of work, isn't she? She sits there and tries to make it sound like the caller is all at fault here and that Alex Nguyen is the god of information. She says it's not all right for people to call in and that there's some other story. Well, what she's not realizing is that Alex gave the wrong story, not the caller. But she doesn't seem to care about that. These people who serve on the city council just take everything that the staff and the city manager and the city attorney says as if it's biblical, as if it's the total 100% truth. And I've caught city staff now lying to me twice. Alex Nguyen clearly just made that up and made it sound like, so that he could pull the wool over these people's eyes, that it was the lawyer's client causing all those problems, when clearly that's not the issue. So Gabriela Basua, get your act together and stop giving the benefit of the doubt to the staff all the time. The callers are right too. So now let's listen to Gabe Turan's, because his is a real doozy.
Just real quickly, and not to get into extended discussion, but just something that I'd like to say, that there's actually a definition of blight. I encourage folks to look that up. And it's just a little offensive to me for someone else to say that our city is blighted, or that people's homes are blighted or their businesses are blighted, because there is an actual definition of what that is. And anyone who operates off facts and evidence should know that that exists. And it's just not fair and highly offensive to accuse a city you don't even live in or work in of such. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
In the immortal words of Gabe Turan at a prior meeting, good God. So first of all, the lawyer mentions how terrible Oxnard looks. And I guess he mentioned the word blight. Well, duh. Have you walked through or driven through parts of Oxnard? There's definitely blight here. So the fact that Gabe Turan is offended by somebody truthfully calling it as they see it is ridiculous. Why is he so offended by stuff all the time? If you're that offended, Gabe, I think you need to get off the council. You got to stop being offended by everything. And you got to stop calling out the public on having opinions on this stuff. They have a right to have the opinion, and you don't have the right to call them out on it. As a city councilman, that's not your job. That's not your duty. So I decided to go around because I've seen the blight myself, and I took some pictures. Within about 20 minutes the other day, I took a bunch of pictures of blight just in the districts around my house. So this first one is over off of Oxnard Boulevard near the car dealerships. This looks like an old muffler shop where the weeds are growing, 3-4 feet high. The building is dilapidated, which is one of the definitions of blight. Then you continue on down Oxnard Boulevard, and I think that's the one that turns into Saviors. And you go by this shopping complex. And let me just play this little video I have here now of this. Look at this. Look at our beautiful shopping plaza down our titled street, Oxnard Boulevard. Well, I guess this is Saviors, though. But look at these buildings. If this isn't blight, what is it? Dilapidated. Look at that roof. It's just awful. It's an eyesore. And then I went and, this is our Oxnard's City School Administration building. Take a look at this building. These poor people have to show up to work here all the time. What a run. It looks like worse than a prison. Look at that ceiling or that roof thing in the front there with all peeling paint and falling apart. This next picture is actually just a few blocks from my house here in Oxnard's Henry T. Oxnard Historic District. Look at this lovely building inside the Historic District. If this isn't lovely, aren't you glad that we have the Historic District here and we have the Cultural Heritage Board making sure that the buildings don't rot and fall apart? Look at this one. And then a particular eyesore for Alex Nguyen, because I understand that he wants to get rid of our prized Carnegie Museum. Look at the Carnegie Museum and how it dilapidated and how blighted it is. Look at the paint and the plaster peeling off of the side of the building. This is on the front of the building. I guess it's an elevator lift for the handicapped. Looks like druggies hang out there and smoke their crack pipes or something, and it caught on fire. That's nice. And then right in front of that, electrical wiring pipes with electrical wires sticking out of it, graffiti all over it. That's not blight, Gabe? What do you call that? This building is downtown by Plaza Park. You can see in the background there the brand new modern movie theater. Whose idea was that? Oh my God. You couldn't do something a little more classy than that? The whole side of this building is boarded up. This is right downtown, right in Plaza Park. Again, in Plaza Park, take a look at this tree overlooking the pagoda, covered in graffiti, just covered, and it's scratched into the bark. That's not blight, Gabe? Then we headed over to Wilson Park, where they're putting in a new all-inclusive playground for disabled children. And right behind there is the rose garden, which nobody takes care of now. Look at the weeds growing amongst the roses, which haven't even been pruned yet. They should be pruned every January. Nobody's clearly pruned them. And there's weeds growing everywhere. This is behind our new playground. That'll be lovely, won't it? In the same park is the senior center and this arts building. Take a look at the roof on this, falling apart, getting water damage, probably full of termites. And then just in front of that is a public toilet. How many of you over there on the city council, Oxnard City Council? Hey, Gabe. Hey, Gabriella. You want to go to the bathroom in here? And then right in front of that, a picnic table and barbecue. So inviting, isn't it? That's not blight, Gabe? And one last thing, too. Gabe mentions that the lawyer doesn't even live or work in Oxnard. What does that have to do with anything? There are people that we've been discussing, Gabe, in the last month or so, working for the city of Oxnard that don't live here. So they don't have an interest in keeping things nice for Oxnard because they don't even live here. Until next time.
Yeah, hi, good evening. My name is Grant Kennedy, and I represent a member of the community, a citizen, a resident. And for over a year, we've been trying to get a permit, a simple permit for a piece of commercial property. And that's a long time, long time. Now, I don't know, have you ever been in a situation where you go into a restaurant and maybe they're not waiting on your table, or maybe nobody's taking care of you, or you go in a department store? How does that make you feel? You know what I mean? When that happens to you. Now, the thing about this situation is if you look around Oxnard, it's a blighted area. There's so many vacant buildings. There's so many buildings that could have a use, but everybody, you really just, to put it bluntly, you're really just destroying your own profitability for your neighborhood and keeping it trash. No offense, but look around. My God, you guys don't have the time to take care of business, or what? You only open part-time? What the hell kind of deal is this? Who else would put up with this with any other business? Let me know that, would you please? Somebody needs to wake up over there, and I'm telling you, this is reaching a boiling point with a lot of people in the community. I talked to people who've been waiting 500 days. One other gentleman, another lady. Everybody's upset with you. Why can't you do your jobs? What does it take? Does it take a good scolding? Does it take anger? Does it take marching? Does it take lawsuits? What does it take? Please, to wake somebody up. I want you to think about that. Okay? I want you to get somebody off their ass and get our permit done, because this has just gone on too long, and I'm out of patience. My client's out of patience. And I'm just asking you most respectfully as I can, because nobody in the community deserves this. And if you're sitting there with smiles on your face thinking, ha, 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 look at this guy. We're going to do nothing for him, and he's pissing us off, so we're really going to do nothing. That's not their work, folks. That's not their work at all. You need to be adults and do your job. You should be embarrassed of yourself so you can't get stuff done faster than this. Look at Westlake. Look at the community surrounding you. You're living in a garbage pail because you can't get anything done. You should be embarrassed of yourself. I hope you are. And I'm apologizing for saying that to you, but what else does it take? We've tried to be nice. We've we've begged. My client's gone over there and cried at the counter. What does it take? Please, would you think about it? Please. Thank you.